I'm Max, the employment law expert on Radio Live.
Are we obliged to sign a new job description every year?
Text here. So I run a medium-sized business using 90-day periods. Can I terminate without reason?
In the contract, it says they can reduce anything they want. Isn't that 0 hours contract?
The employee can choose not to come in, then guaranteed hours don't apply, correct?
I'll answer all the employment questions 8 to 9 p.m. every Wednesday.
You got the facts, so talk to Max.
It's Radio Live with Mike. Great to have your company tonight. It is 8:06. Hopefully you have had a fantastic Wednesday. It's always good when the week's a bit shorter, isn't it, after a day off yesterday, Anzac Day. Max Whitehead joins us in studio for the next hour. How are you, Max?
I fought the law, and the law won. What a great song.
What perfect choice, isn't it? Yes.
Levon, thank you very, very much. That's one of my favourites going way back in time. I just adore that song.
It's like a theme song for you, really.
Well, when I was a teenager, I just wanted to fight the law, man. I was not going to go and conform.
Really?
Oh, my mum and dad was so religious, such a good bloody couple. I just wanted to do everything opposite. Fight the law. I dreamt about having this Mini and driving like crazy through the streets and the cops chasing me. Just what I ever wanted to do.
That's very goodbye pork pie.
Yeah, well, it was. I don't know why, but I hated Minis to fix them as well. But
well, you didn't strike me as somebody that wanted to fight the law, but here you are working in the law now.
Every day.
Every single day. And
fighting
Max,
the law.
Yeah, he gives up his time on a Wednesday night to come in and help you fight the law. So if you've got any employment issues, now's the time to ring 0800 844 747, or you can text, use the keyword live and send those to 3920. Now get in early because Max always has a lot of calls, and usually what happens in the last half hour is we run out of time to deal with them all.
Yeah, it is. It's awful.
Yeah,
I need 3 hours on his show.
You need 3 hours. Actually, speaking of 3 hours, you did a few shifts here at Radio Live over the Easter break.
6 hours. I mean, I must have bored the listeners to tears.
I doubt it, Max.
We never talked about employment law at all, but
Wow.
6 hours I covered.
What'd you talk about?
Well, Mike Peru and Mike. You came in one part. You're doing the weather, weren't you?
I did. I was doing the weather. I popped in to see my old mate Max.
Oh, look, I wanted him to come in and talk to you folks, but he just wouldn't have it because he was so busy.
No, I see it. Well, and the other thing is I was thinking, Max, your gig, your show, you do what
Terrifying,
you need to do.
Mike. I was terrified. Honestly, I was shaking. Sitting over your side of the bench, you know, like I'm a guest here, you're the host, and man, I didn't realise the huge responsibility. Oh, and Lemon's sitting out there, man. He saved me so often, but we got there. We got there.
Oh, no, I heard quite a bit of your show. It was good work, Max.
Don't lie to me. You didn't.
No, I did.
You were doing the weather.
I heard a little bit.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I heard 30 seconds. I thought, oh, he's got this. He's fine. So tonight also we do You Be the Judge. Now, this is where we put to you a situation that's occurred and you be the judge. So, Max, let's just crack into it straight away.
Well, talking about my youth before, this is all about it. This is a punch-up. This is a couple of colleagues in a workplace. So should I jump into it, Mike? Yep.
Yeah,
okay, right, let's go. This guy's called Clive Smith, and his employer was the Ministry of Primary Industries. Now, Clive, he worked in New Plymouth as a compliance officer. Mike attended a farewell in Wellington on the 10th of September 2015. That date's going to be relevant later on. Afterwards, a small number of the staff moved on to a bar. So I imagine, Mike, there was a couple of beers going down at that farewell, and they moved on to a bar, which is cool.
As you do. Everyone does that at a work function. The group of, partiers carry on.
And work sort of, starts to dissolve in time. And anyway, in the early hours of the morning, they must have been hanging there. So they were in this bar stool. An altercation occurred. Now, Mike hit his colleague.
Clive,
sorry, not Mike. Oh, God, I've got this worrying. You are in a fight, aren't you, tonight? So Clive hit his colleague several times in the face, and his colleague retaliated and whacked him and dropped him in one hit.
Oh, okay, it's a bit of argy-bargy between the boys.
Between the boys.
Yeah.
Next morning, Clive rang his colleague and said, look, mate, I'm sorry for hitting you. I really didn't mean to.
I can imagine how that goes.
But, I know you come from a small town. That stuff does happen.
Yes.
And you get over it and you man up sort of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But no. This is the Ministry of Primary Industries. We'll call them MPI. They stepped in and they called Clive to a meeting. And so Clive came in. And Clive came in and he got extremely distressed. I take it, they didn't say the words, but I think he probably broke down and showed extreme remorse for what he had done. He advised management at that time that he was under medication for depression And mixing it with alcohol was just really a silly thing to do, and that affected his judgment.
Yes, you're
He
right.
went on to say that he had serious family problems, and the stress of the job was really getting him down. So, he pleaded his case, and he was weeping. Now, to the point where management said, hey, man, you need to sort of have a break, because he was at a point of breaking, obviously. So they recommended he take time off work and said, look, you take some time off work. That'll give us an opportunity to investigate what happened, the night before, and we'll get to the bottom of this. So he did. A couple of weeks later, Clive decided, he went to his doctor, and his doctor said, you're fine to go back to work. So he went to try and get back to work. MPI, Ministry of Primary Industry, said, no, we're still investigating. So, okay. Now, what they did for the investigation, Mike, is that they got an independent investigator in, and he spent 5 months investigating this event, which probably took 30 seconds or 40
5
seconds.
months?
5 months
Gee,
to
some
investigate.
investigators creaming it, isn't he?
We got paid by the hour, I wonder.
Yeah, true.
They'd be lapping
I'll
it up.
string this one out.
Absolutely. Anyway, he concluded at the end of his investigation that Clive initially hit his colleague without provocation. However, he said there was some motivating factors for Clive's actions. But the whole decision, Mike, I present this every week, and I have to rely what's in the decision, was silent in that regard. So
Right,
I
so they
do
didn't-
criticise the authority for not actually telling us
Well,
what
it's
was in.
strange that they didn't explain what those situations could have been,
Yeah.
those motivating factors.
Well, the authority member didn't think it was important, obviously.
Okay.
But anyway, the conclusions were with this investigator that Clive and his colleague both used physical violence against each other, and both men's actions amounted to serious misconduct.
Wow, okay.
Well, punching other men in the face is probably pretty serious.
Yeah.
So they dismissed Clive on the 15th of April, 5 months later, for initiating the altercation.
Okay, so Clive's gone after the punch-up.
Right, so then Clive takes an action to the Employment Relations Authority, and he says that there was a disparity of treatment and the matter was predetermined. Now, how did he come to those conclusions? He said his colleague only received a warning where he got fired. He only received a warning, and obviously his colleague whacked him to drop him to the ground. He must have been a bit of a pretty good hit.
Right, and the colleague only received a warning. Right, yeah, I'm following
and Clive,
you. Following you.
Clive was suspended from, and what they said from that, the MPI had actually predetermined the outcome by suspending him. They didn't suspend the other guy. He carried on working and carried on as usual.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
also, what he argued is other assaults that had happened at work, and that people were treated differently. They didn't get fired. So he'd argue, hang on, there's a disparity of treatment here.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally, I'm with Clive on that one.
What I want to ask the listeners is this. What happens outside the workplace, is that anything to do with work? Particularly when it's hours and hours later, and that was said in the decision that the issues that were argued about, or whatever it was behind it, were nothing to do with work.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
So that's the question that people have to think about. Because remember, I want you to tell us what you would do if you were the judge here. This is what you be the judge.
Yeah, and you can ring us, 0800 844 747.
So should both men have been dismissed? Because both of them actually assaulted each other. That's a question I put to you as well. Admittedly, Clive hit him first. And Clive's colleague was treated differently. He got name suppression as well. So he was treated a lot differently. So, folks, I'm not going to tell you what the decision is. Mike won't let me until the end of the night. But I want to know what Mike's thoughts on this are. But I more importantly want to know what the public think, because I think your views on this are more important, because that's what the judiciary should be reflecting, is what our society thinks of these things.
Yes, and I'm always completely different to what everybody else thinks.
No,
most
you're
of the
not.
time.
No,
I
you've
usually
actually
am.
hit it on the nail a couple of times.
A couple of times. Out of
Well,
quite
recently,
a few.
you're going well.
Well, I would say, based on the evidence and what you've told me,
Yes.
that yes, Clive was treated unfairly. I think that he's right in saying it was predetermined. I would have never, if I was in his shoes, accepted the suspension, so to speak of. I would have made sure the other guy got suspended as well, because then you kind of look like you're at fault straight away.
Yeah.
But I think that what happens outside of work has nothing to do with your employment. I think if you're at a bar with your work colleagues and you have a punch-up, then that is something completely separate from work. Okay, it was a work event, but it wasn't work. It was just a few drinks after work one night. And so many people have probably been in that situation. And what were they had the punch up over nothing to do with work. So there you go. It was just something personal. Maybe there was a bit of, girlfriend stealing going on or something else that
It could have well been, yeah. We don't know.
We will never know too, will we? But I think, yes, Clive was treated very unfairly in that situation. I think if they were going to fire him, they definitely had to fire the other guy because punches were exchanged. And I reckon that because of the incident occurring outside of work hours, they really had no reason to get rid of him based on the fact that it was a, supposed work.
Remembering Clive unprovoked hit the guy.
Well, and he hit back.
He did hit back.
Mm-hmm. So
all right, well, that's Mike. I appreciate it.
That's what I think.
You're
anyway.
not offensive. I used to think you were, but you're definitely not, and I like that. And you, good on you, man.
Okay, well, I could be completely wrong.
I wonder if any listeners out there have the same courage as Mike Puru.
They do.
They do?
A lot more, actually. I so want to look at the decision to see what happened.
Don't do that.
Really?
Yeah, keep it folded down.
Okay,
He's trying to feed, guys. I won't let him.
Okay, cool. Because I reckon I'll be right on this. And there you go. I'm putting a little post-it note over the decision.
You are
See
too.
that?
He is as well. He's showing me.
Okay, 0800 844 747. Have you been in that situation yourself? Have you had an altercation with somebody outside of work at a bar, and has it come back to bite you on the bum at work? I'll be curious to know. 0800 844 747. You can also text if you like. Use the keyword live and send those to 3920. But those questions that Max put to us, you can answer them right away. The events happened outside the workplace. The issues were not connected to the workplace. So should both men have been dismissed for assaulting the other? Should Clive's colleague be treated differently to Clive? And does fights like that occur outside of work have any influence on your employment? Let us know. 0800 844
Well
747.
summarised. That's very cool the way you did that.
At 17 past 8, it's Radio Live. We'll take a break. Be back with John in just a minute.
Nights with Mike Puru. Have your say.
0800 844 747.
0800 This Is Live.
It is 20 past 8, Radio Live with Mike and Max Whitehead, your employment law specialist. If you've got any issues that you need solving tonight, give us a call, 0800 844 747, and you may have some thoughts on You Be the Judge. What would you do in this situation if you were the judge? And have you been involved in a bar altercation or a punch-up outside of work? And did it come back to bite you on the bum at work? Because I would assume that the two things are completely separate.
Always alcohol, isn't it? Is in the middle of it, and that's probably going back to mine. Less of it today. Well, maybe no, there is. The young ones are always there, aren't they?
Well, Mum and Dad, they both freezing workers for a while back there in Southland, and some of the issues were sorted out with a few altercations at the bar.
I was the HR manager at Waitara Freezing Works, and the union told me, "Don't you interfere, Max. We sort things out the back. You just poke your nose out of here. The boys will sort this."
I love it. Okay, let's see what John thinks. John joins us tonight.
G'day, John.
Oh, hang on, I need to put him on.
Oh, hit the button.
Hit the button.
Right.
Right. John, good evening.
Hey,
How are
John.
Good evening. How are you tonight, all right?
you? Yeah, we are excellent, John.
On fire.
That's good, that's good. Right, Max, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
I am rostered to do 45 hours a week. Now, I do between 45 and 77 hours a week. My holiday pay is based on a 40-hour week. All my holidays is based on a 40-hour week, yet I am physically rostered to do 45, and I do the 45 plus. So what happens there?
Right. Good question, and you've been ripped off.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, pretty much. I think he's been ripped off.
Yep. It's the rules in the Holidays Act. The average or the ordinary pay, your average pay or your ordinary pay, whichever is greatest. So if you did a 77-hour week, that would be over and above your ordinary pay, then that would be the pay that you've got to get. And your ordinary pay is 45 hours a week. So, I mean, for goodness sake, they can't bring you back down to 40.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm happy to do, John. You email me tomorrow. I'll send you that section of the Act, and you just politely put it in front of your employer and say that that loudmouth on the radio, Max Whitehead, gave this to me, and I think you better have a review in terms of my holiday pay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one because there's a third party involved.
How's that work? I don't understand that.
He contracts out the contracts out to get my pay sorted by somebody else.
Oh, right. Well, no, it's not your problem. You give it to the employer, and it's his problem because if his contractor's not doing it right, so just say to him politely, say, hey, boss, I've just listened to the Max Whitehead and he told me that this, and I'll send you that section of the Act if you like. So if you want to come back to Levon, he'll probably take off your, or even give me a call tomorrow on 0800 24/7 9393. Or email me tomorrow, and I will actually send you off that section of the Act, and you just put it in front of the boss and say, well, this is where the law says.
Yeah, and I've got a question for you, John. How long has this been going on for?
Yeah, good point.
Well, I've just picked it up on, because I got my new batch of holidays ticked over, and all I took last year was 45 hours off, and I had a look at it, and I added the 2 up, and then went, well, that doesn't look right. He's doing it on a 40-hour week, not a 45.
Right,
So what Mike's getting at, if you've got a couple of years where you've been underpaid, you've got some back pay coming. That's what Mike's heading for. God, he's on your side.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we all...
As regards to who be the judge...
Yes.
Now we're talking, yep.
Yeah. What time did the official work do finish?
I don't know, but I would think it would be a respectable hour because they moved on to a bar after. That's all I know in the decision.
Well, if they've moved on from where the work do was, therefore it's not a work do anymore.
It's agreed. I tell you what it did say in the decision, John, it says, and you might know I don't know the geometry of Wellington, but it was at Petone, and then they moved to a bar in Wellington. I mean, is Petone so far from Wellington? Do you know, Mike?
Yes, it is. It's quite a distance.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
Well, they must have got a cab into town and gone boozing, and you know what that's all about.
Oh, yeah, well, that's officially the work function.
It would have been a 2-can trip in a cab, I would have thought.
But yeah, I think he's been unjustified dismissal there. I think he's got a other one to go for is embarrassment.
Yep.
I think it's called embarrassment or whatever they do.
Hurt feelings, humiliation and loss of dignity. That's what they put in there.
Yep.
So there's compensation for that. Yep.
Yep, and he should be applying for that as well.
Good man.
And what about his mate who got off, his work colleague who, didn't start the fight?
If they're going to haul one over the coals, they might as well haul the other one over the coals.
Well, the other guy got a warning for 6 months, and his warning was, I didn't tell anyone, sorry. The other guy got a warning for 6 months, and after 6 months it disappears off his file.
Oh, really? Oh, he got
name suppression.
But what about the 90 days of, like they've said they're going to investigate the matter. Now, I believe it's a standard clause after 90 days you don't have the right of redress on anything. So why have they got the right of redress after 90 days when their investigation took over 5 months?
Oh, I don't know about that, Lord John, but at 5 months is OTT. It's right over the top. Yeah. I agree with you. That is disgraceful for an organisation, government department with heaps of resources, all our tax money at their bloody beck and call. 5 months.
Why, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, John, appreciate your call.
What a cool guy. You call back, John. I like you.
Yeah, and good luck with sorting out your holiday pay.
Call me in the morning. I'm going to help you.
Yeah, good man. It's Radio Live with Mike and Max, 26 past 8, Radio Live. Let's go to Daniel now. Good evening, Daniel. How are you?
Hey, Daniel.
Good thanks. How's it going?
Yeah, good. You got a question, or you're ringing up about you be the judge?
Oh, I've got a question.
Okay,
I'm a night shift worker. I work 7 p.m. till 7 a.m.
Yep.
This past Good Friday, I worked Thursday night 7 p.m. till Friday morning 7 a.m. Obviously got our rate from midnight and our loo day.
Yep.
But I never got paid a statutory day for Friday night, which I'm under the understanding I should be, as I normally would work that night, 12 hours, and so on. We got paid a statutory night for Monday night, which to me says that we should be working and we should be paid a day.
How weird.
Sorry?
That's so weird, isn't it? You got paid for the Monday but not the Friday.
Yeah, and then the argument was that we earn the loo day working in, so that we shouldn't get paid for Friday twice. We can use the loo day as Friday payment.
God, well, this doesn't make sense at
Well,
all.
no, because aren't you supposed to get time and a half and a day in lieu?
I see, Mike knows. He's dead right there.
Well,
You should get
we
both.
actually get slightly more. We've got to negotiate. We're in a pretty strong union here.
Oh, yep.
We get a slightly better rate than 1.5.
Look, Daniel, check your contract carefully, because if it's one of these ones and you're obviously working shift work and it's unionised, you may find that they've got a clause in there which they are in law entitled to sort of manipulate the holidays.
Yeah, I understand that. I've got it right here in front of me.
Right.
It says here for Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and Good Friday.
Yep.
In the case of these 3 days, except Christmas Day and New Year's Day fall on a Saturday, the night shift will be paid a rate of, whatever.
Yep.
Further on down here it says, paid the relevant day pay for the public holiday when taken as a day in lieu. Now, we're not quite too sure what that means.
Oh, that means your day in lieu, which means, that you qualify for a day in lieu. That means any day that you take off on that day, you'll be paid your relevant daily pay. So the relevant daily pay is a way how your pay will be calculated.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what that little section means. Yeah.
Our new manager's reading it, paid that means that we take the day in lieu for the next day, and that's where you get your payment from.
Now, I'm getting a little annoyed. What the hell are your union doing? Are they sleeping?
Well, tell me about annoyed. I spoke to our union. He actually rang me directly after I was off the phone to the manager.
He'll ring you after tonight.
Him and his lawyers. This is the same guy we've been dealing with for the last 5 years I've been here. And the last 5 years I've been here, we've been paid accordingly. We've been paid into the Thursday shift. That's our Thursday shift. And then the Friday we were paid a statutory holiday because we didn't work. But this year, it's been different with the new manager.
What are they doing? What's your union saying and doing? Is this I bet you I know which union it is.
It's a meat workers union.
Oh, yeah. Them or the engineers? Are they both? Yeah, okay.
Okay. He told me that he was talking to his lawyer and he couldn't understand how we get paid twice for Friday. And I'm saying to him, well, that's not Friday. That's my Thursday shift that I get those, the penal rates.
All right, well, I'm a bit lost of this. Do you want to take it up with me tomorrow and we could have a little chat about it?
Have a note out, you look at his contract,
email it to me. Yeah, so, Daniel, you got my email address?
I'm sure I can find it.
It's max.w@whiteheadgroup.co.nz.
I haven't actually got a pen on me, so I'm actually at work.
I'll tell you what, Daniel, we'll put you on hold and Levon can give you those details so you can give yourself some time to get a pen.
I'll help you, buddy. Don't worry. We'll be there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good work, and thank you so much for your call, Daniel. You have a good day. We'll just put you on hold. Levon can just give you some details there. It is 29 to 9. It's Radio Live. Time for a news update.
Radio Live. News Hub update.
The latest from News Hub, samples obtained by French intelligence show that forces loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad undoubtedly used sarin nerve gas in an April 4 attack in northern Syria. That's according to France's foreign minister, citing a declassified report. A 36-year-old man's heading to court in Queenstown tomorrow after being pepper sprayed by police there. And United Airlines back in the headlines, not for dragging a passenger down the aisles this time, but because of reports a giant rabbit died on one of its transatlantic flights. More on Side 30. Or as the news happens, I'm not giggling. From News Hub.
No, I just hope it wasn't the Easter Bunny.
Oh, it's a terrible thing
it's
to say.
It's the only big rabbit I can think of. He's had a busy weekend last weekend. Anyway, thank you very much, Anna.
Maybe it was the Easter Bunny.
Well, let's hope not. A big rabbit.
That will save me so much money and I'll just be able to eat ordinary chocolate bars.
Could you imagine them at United Airlines trying to drag a big rabbit off? I'm sorry, we've overbooked. The bunny has to go. Come here. And the rabbit's going, no, I need to get home to make some more eggs for next Easter.
Dwag me.
Dwag me.
You got the steward comes down and gets him and drags him out in the aisle.
That's right.
Give me all your eggs.
Another video for the telly. The news will be full of it.
And United Airline hostess comes down and goes, rightio, bunny, hop to it, out of the seat.
Hop to it.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my
It's
God.
getting worse.
You know what?
And then the rabbit says, oh, you're digging yourself a hole here.
Oh.
I'm sorry that I've transported them back to the
I know,
80s.
sorry.
What's
everyone.
happened? The news will never be the same.
Full of dad jokes tonight.
Oh, you're
Hashtag,
going well. You're on fire.
hashtag what news? Thank you.
That's hilarious. Oh, well, nothing like a good laugh when the news is on, if it's appropriate, however. It is Radio Live. It is 27 to 9.
A rabbit conquers the news tonight, doesn't it?
What's up, Doc? 0800 844 747, or you can text, use the keyword live and send them to 3920. Paul has been waiting patiently. How are you, Paul?
G'day, Paul.
Mate, you all right?
Yeah, good. Yeah, sorry, I was just having a laugh at the trivial news there, you know.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. That's right, Paul. Hey, so you ringing about you be the judge, or have you got a question for Max?
No, I got a question, man. Like, we're owned by an Aussie company over here, and we've just been sold, and they're trying to change our salary from a weekly payment to a monthly payment. Is that good or what?
They can't do it if it's in their employment agreement. So it's when they change ownership, it depends of what they've told you, Paul. So if they've said to you that they're going to give you all the same terms and conditions as you had before, then they're stuck with your weekly. And they can't change it unless you agree. Is it written in your contract? That's the key to this.
It's not written either way in the contract.
It's not.
There's nothing in my contract that says I get weekly pay. It says I get a salary of X amount. And
it's an argument from yesteryear because it used to come up all the time. So you actually could raise a very strong argument to say, look, all my automatic payments are jigged for the weekly, and so I'm not happy with the monthly. You could actually do that. It causes the biggest nightmare for employers. But the key is, did they take over your old contract, though? Did they say that all your terms and conditions remain the same?
Yes, yeah, we've got a new contract and everything. I've been over both the old one and the new one. It never said anything. It just says you get a salary of X amount.
Oh, well, see, that's maybe the problem, because they didn't... If they'd said to you, you retain all the terms and conditions of before, then
they have said that.
Oh, okay.
But I'm taking from what Paul's saying that in the previous contract it wasn't ever written.
No, it's not specified. Yeah, I got that as well. But if they said, oh, this is a new employment agreement, which I think Paul said.
No, it's not a new. No, they're rolling over every other thing they.
Yeah, I think you've got an argument, man. You could actually push back and say, no, I don't.
I'm in the union. I'll be straight up. I'm E2 union.
Right.
We wear the old EPMU.
Yep.
And I rung my guy, and they're going through the same thing. And my organiser told me that I can't really do anything unless I can plead, like, that it's going to cause me a big hassle to be paid each week. What do you reckon about that?
No, I think you don't have to. You can say that's my terms and conditions of employment, and I want them retained, because to vary it. Look, this is not sacrosanct. I've got to say the employer can do, if there's terms and conditions not specified in the contract, they can vary them on notice, but it depends on what they are. Now, I think probably union is right. If you've got to show that there's some hardship with you changing over. And is there?
I mean, like, the thing is, my company, as you'll probably know, being a lawman, health and safety is big. We're owned by an Australian company.
Yep.
And they tell us that the most important thing working there is health and safety.
Yep.
Now, if I've got to spend a Wednesday night ringing you up...
You're going to be tired tomorrow.
Is that not a health and safety thing, mate? Is it not, like... Is that something I could go on as well? I don't know.
Oh, no, I think ringing me up doesn't affect your safety, but I might do. You never know. You might get the heavies come to visit you.
I'm trying to go to bed.
It's ticking over in his head. He's trying to work things out.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's right.
You're right, mate.
Yeah,
and you've got to stick with us till 9 o'clock now. You know that, Paul.
Oh, I know. I will be.
All right, you better raise it as a health and safety problem. That now you have to listen to Max and Mike go till 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and look,
anyway, do you reckon, Max, if I do bring it up, I'll have a good go to say, hey?
Yeah, well, I think your union's given you some good advice in regards to you need to show some hardship to actually change to a month from a week, and that shouldn't be hard to do if you've got APs, automatic payments.
Is that enough hardship, is it?
Well, I think so. It just means that, the way that they're changing the pay system for you is going to cause you undue stress.
Yeah.
Stress in having to rearrange all those repayments, interest that you may, be accruing on different bills. It doesn't work for you. So, I think you should try, mate.
There you go.
I will do. Thank you, guys.
Hey,
Awesome.
sweet
All right,
as
thanks for
Paul.
listening and thanks for calling in,
Yeah.
even though I know you're exhausted.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. Ticking over it is here. Good on you, Paul. It's Radio Live with Mike
Health and
Max.
safety. Health and safety. We are a hazard, you and
That's
I.
right. Dangerous listening to us.
M&M.
At 22 to 9. Before we go to another Paul who's waiting on the phone, we've got a text here. Thank you so much for sending the text. Hey, Max, I'm opening up my first small cleaning type business. There will only be one staff member per shift. What are the rules regarding working public holidays? Is it required to pay time and a half or double time plus a day in lieu? Are some businesses exempt to pay? Are some businesses exempt to both the pay and a day in lieu? Cheers, Phil.
No, you've got to pay both. So if these are employees, they're not contractors, so you're employing somebody to work on a public holiday, you have to pay them rate and a half and give them another day off in lieu of working on that day, on pay. So it's an expensive day for you, but sure, you do.
Okay, and even if there's only just one of them on a shift?
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter. And even if they work 1 hour, you've got to give them a full day off some other day on full pay.
All right, there you go.
It's hard on employers and small employers particularly. So, Paul, I'm sorry to give you that news, but that's the facts.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your text. Any more, if you'd like to send them, use the keyword live and send those to 3920. Just quickly before we go to a break, somebody on text regarding You Be the Judge said, wouldn't it be a police assault matter? This is regarding our man Clive,
I
who
would
ended up
agree.
having a little bit of a punch-up at a work do after everybody else had closed up and gone on to another bar. He was still with some workmates. Two of them had a bit of an altercation. He basically lost his job over that.
I think this is my thoughts, reading the decision. And look, admittedly, it's 15, 16 pages long. But what I sense is that Clive rang up, apologised, and these two guys got over it. But the employer amplified it, made it worse, and then actually thought he had to come in and make the damage. So I don't think anyone would press charges against the other for assault.
Right.
Because you admit they both would go down if the police were involved. I would think they probably would. Because the other guy, King, hit him and dropped him. Bang. But Clive owned up, said, mate, I hit you and I was out of line.
Showed remorse, rang up the next day, apologised.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, will you be the judge? You can let us know what your thoughts are, and any questions for Max, you can give us a call right now. Lines are free. 0800 844 747. It is 19 to 9. It's Radio Live with Mike and Max, 17 to 9. 0800 844
Tonight's firing up, isn't it, Mike? It's going well.
Good. It's going good. Before we're having a laugh with Araha about the giant rabbit on a United Airlines flight that sadly has passed away, which is no laughing matter. We just had visions of United Airlines telling the bunny to get out of its seat and dragging this huge bunny down the corridor and off the plane with
He was
security.
hopping mad,
He was hopping mad, all right. He was like, buck up your ideas. The Welsh giant was the type of rabbit, and apparently it's as big as a dog, someone says on text.
Oh, man.
What a huge rabbit.
I was out walking the other day and went past a person's house and there was a massive rabbit there. Honestly, it was furry, it was large, it was like a dog, yeah.
That's insane, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Let's go back to the phones because Paul has dropped off. Paul, give us a call back, but Barb is standing by. Good evening, Barb. How are you?
Hey, Barb.
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you doing?
Very good.
Both good. What about yourself? Are you looking after yourself?
Oh, of course.
And how's your employment going?
Oh, not the best.
Is that why you've rung?
Pardon?
Is that why you've rung?
No, she rang to see how we were.
Yeah, definitely.
How can we help you, Barb?
I normally work the Friday, and I didn't get paid for it because I get paid fortnightly, and I found out that I didn't get paid for it. I should get paid for it, but I've got one more question after that.
Well, you should have got paid for it. If it's normally your working day and you took the holiday, then you should get paid for it. You don't get a day in lieu or anything like that, and you don't get rate and a half, but you should have got a normal day's pay.
Because I normally start at 11 o'clock at night, but I work during the day as well. So so they made me start at 1, so they didn't need to pay me. So, yeah, it's just a bit screwed. But anyway.
Yeah, no, you should have got paid for the 1 hour. For the 1 hour that you normally would have worked, because you took a day off, that 1 hour you should have got some payment for. Just your normal pay.
No, I normally start at 11, but they made me start at 1, so that's like 3 hours. So,
Yeah, no, well, unless your contract says otherwise, your day's midnight. So from 11 to 12, if you
Right.
on the Good Friday, you should have got that 1 hour pay.
At time and a half.
No, just ordinary time because you didn't work it and you took a day off. It's like a normal day worker takes a day off. They still get paid for the day. And you
So I should have got 8 hours.
No, just because you normally only work 1 hour on that
just
day.
1 hour.
Yeah, 1 hour.
Oh, okay. I see how it works. And I'm...
Question 2.
Question 2, the thing is, I don't know how they work the pay structure, but we've got to clock in and you do it with your finger. But my lady who does it, she keeps asking me when I work, what time I started, and I think she's been diddling it because about 10 hours a week has been taken out of my pay. What can I do?
Wow. Wow. So you can... I'll tell you what I would do, Barb. I would ask for your wage and time records.
I did get that, and it doesn't add up.
And you fingerprinting as you come in, so there must be a record of that. Because what they might send you is a big list of numbers. That's what they normally do.
They gave that, yes. And it doesn't add up. Like I said, it's like 10 hours. Some has been 7 hours a week, but most of the time it's been 10 or 11 hours.
Okay, well, you can challenge it if you don't think it's right. But the difficulty employees have is getting evidence to prove that you actually work different hours.
But I run in the diary because I had a funny feeling because when she started asking me what hours I was working, I was like, I have to write my hours down. So ever since I started, I've been writing my hours down in the diary. So
when you get to work, do you come to work with anybody? Does anyone there see you come and go?
Yes.
Well, there you go. You've got evidence then. If those people will vouch for the time you start and finish.
We've got video cameras there, so...
All right. Well, again, you can ask to cite those. If you really want to get stuck into this, you can ask for the footage of those. I mean, you're gonna have to lodge a.
I've only been working there 2 months, but.
Well, you're going to be famous, aren't you? But what you can do is you're going to have to lodge a protest and have to then lodge an application saying that you've been robbed, and then people like me could come in and ask for that information.
How do I do that?
You would have to, first off, give them notification that you think you've been underpaid and give them what information.
I've done that, and we're having a meeting tomorrow, so after that, what do I do?
All right, you tell them that you're going to file
I'm
an
Max, the
application
employment law expert on Radio Live.
in the next 24 hours unless they fix it. And you've got to mean it. You've really got to mean it. That means...
Yeah, of course I will, because it's like $700-800 what the...
Yep.
Oh, yeah, well worth chasing.
Well, then give me a call. I'll show you how to do it because, I mean, paying for me to do that, I would take half of that in the first hour. So what you really need to do, I'll show you what to do. There's an application form you can fill in. You've got to pay the Employment Relations Authority $71.56, and then we'll go through it. So just give me a call tomorrow on 0800 247 9393. Be no charge, and I'll show you how to go about it.
Nice work. Thank you for your call, Barb. Good luck. Good on you, Max, helping her out.
Well, why not?
You know,
she sounds like a decent soul.
Yeah, she is hard working too by the sounds of it. Okay, before we take a quick break, Kevin, good evening. How are you?
Oh, g'day, Mike.
Yeah, we are great tonight, Kevin. Yep.
Just waiting for your call, Kevin. How are you, bud?
G'day, Max. Max, I have a couple of general questions related to your case.
Oh, good, good.
Raised at the beginning. Now, the first one is that I'm interested in this whole thing of what happens outside the workplace, how that affects things inside the workplace, particularly in regards to reputation.
Oh, hey, Kevin, just one moment. Are we on speakerphone by any chance?
Yes, I am, actually.
Yeah. Is it right if we take you off that? It's just cutting in and out a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit echoey.
Okay.
Yeah, is that right?
To take off speakerphone. Okay, I'll do that.
If you can do that, yep.
All right, Kevin, you were saying about working, these events happening outside working hours. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking about reputation. Now, a couple of years ago, there was a primary teacher. I'm basically in that field. I'm a specialist teacher.
Yep.
And this particular teacher happens to be the girlfriend of the owner of the strip club, the White House in Auckland.
Oh, yeah.
And she was doing some stripping, apparently. Now, the Teacher Registration Board determined that paid the teaching profession to disrepute.
Yes.
Even though, of course, she actually wasn't stripping during her normal working day. Now, personally, in my view, I think that decision is wrong but it's obviously a way that schools get around dismissing someone, is that they say it brings the school or the teaching profession into disrepute.
Yep, that's been law for a while, and that's what the courts have been saying for a while. But the laws isn't always right in my view. You know, I fought the law and the law won, but you know that's what I'm asking you, Kevin. You obviously don't think it's right either.
No, I do not think it's right, actually. No, I think what happens outside the workplace can be quite separate from what's going in the workplace. I think employers can use that whole concept of reputation to suit their own purposes. So anyway, we agree on that we don't agree with that, but unfortunately you say it's the law. Now, the next question I have is in regards to unjustifiable dismissal.
Yes.
If someone has a case, right, and they take it to the ERA, and the ERA actually determines, yes, that person was unjustifiably dismissed. Now, my understanding is that under current employment law, that the actual employer has no obligation to actually reinstate that person, even though that was ruled by the ERA that the person was unjustifiably dismissed.
Correct.
Correct. So I was right about that.
Yes, it's not compulsory unless the authority orders it for reinstatement, and it's no longer the primary remedy. It used to be, and they took it away and said, no, it's no longer the primary remedy to get that person back to work. You're quite right.
Yeah. Okay.
So you won that argument, Kevin.
Sorry?
You won that bet with whoever you had it with.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, while you're there, and Mike, I'm worried this call is waiting here, but going back to the other point of disrepute, I would like to just challenge you on that, because I do agree with you to some extent, but imagine a school teacher that had committed rape outside the workplace. You know, or he was caught for paedophilia. There's extremes. I know that's an extreme case. But, I mean, does that bring the school into disrepute? It could well do. You know, I don't think parents would be too happy if their children are in that classroom with that teacher thereafter.
Oh, absolutely correct.
And I'm talking extremes in that case.
Exactly. That is an extreme. But schools can use that, unfortunately.
Yeah, they do.
Whole grey area. And as I remember, I really enjoy your show, Max. I listen to it quite regularly. I remember you saying once before, several weeks, or maybe a month or two ago, saying that you dealt with a few cases of teachers in schools, and that schools are actually more interested in their reputation than perhaps the actual their obligations.
Oh, yeah, and I can tell you now, the principals look after the parents and the students more, and the teachers are to blame every time. Anyway.
Absolutely correct.
Mike's looking at me as if he's got other callers on the line, so we must keep moving, Kevin.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Thank you so much for your call. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I love it. Call back, please.
Okay, it is 6 to 9. We'll take a break. We'll be back with what the judiciary said regarding you be the judge. So you may have had some thoughts. You may have had, a decision in your mind as to what you would do if you were the judge. But what did they actually do? Find out the answer straight after these. It's Radio Live.
Mike Puru.
Radio Live Evening Talk.
0800 This Is Live.
It is 3 to 9. It's Radio Live with Mike and Max. The latest news is coming up at 9 o'clock. Before that, though, the results of You Be the Judge. This is exactly what happened in the case with Clive Smith versus the Ministry of Primary Industry. So just to quickly recap, he was basically given the boot from the job, and he was pretty much down and out, really. His mate never got anything, but what was the outcome?
So they go to an after-work event, they get into Clive hits this guy, the other guy, King, hit him back, and Clive got sacked, the other guy didn't. The other guy got a little warning and name suppression.
After a 5-month investigation, by the way.
5 months, yes.
I'll be questioning that.
So what the authority ordered, shall I go through? This is the drum roll, and here we go. The authority said Clive's dismissal was justified. But they said the employer did not act unreasonably in issuing a lesser penalty to Clive's colleague.
Oh, really?
Well, they believe that Clive initiated he hit first. Oh. But anyway, they said that Clive was to be awarded $2,000, which wouldn't even touch the sides of his legal bill. because he was not asked the question about his suspension. So he was told that he was suspended, and they never asked him any questions. So it's a pretty feeble little soft touch at the end of that. But the facts are that it was deemed to be a justifiable dismissal.
Wow, geez, well, there you go. There's a warning for if you're out at work drinks and you go to another bar later on, you have an altercation with somebody, before you know it, you can lose your job.
Do you know that goes against some of the other decisions I heard in the past? I think it was a DB guy or something years and years ago had a fight but in a bar, but he had a DB shirt on, so they said he brought into disrepute because of that. But this case, no, it wasn't that related, and I guarantee the two guys never said in the decision, got over it.
Gosh, and I tell you what, wearing shirts with logos on it and driving cars with logos on it, you got to be so careful what you do all the time.
You got it.
Okay, just before you go, Max, one more question
Sure.
on text from Blair. Hi, Max and Mike. If you're on a set salary each week and you work a stat day, do you still get a day in lieu?
Yes, if you work the stat day, you do get a day in lieu. So time and a half the day. You could have answered that, Mike. You're on to it.
Yes, I was.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me, and good night, everybody. Thank you.
Max Whitehead, if you need him, you can give him a call anytime. 0800 24/7 93 93. We'll see you next week, Max.
We will. Next Wednesday.
I'm Max, the employment law expert on Radio Live.
Are we obliged to sign a new job description every year?
Text here. So I run a medium-sized business using 90-day periods. Can I terminate without reason?
In the contract, it says they can reduce anything they want. Isn't that 0 hours contract?
The employee can choose not to come in, then guaranteed hours don't apply, correct?
I'll answer all the employment questions 8 to 9 p.m. every Wednesday.
You got the facts, so talk to Matt.